You ever notice when a really popular boy band gets really big, their management and marketing team makes some weird advertising choices? For example, comic books based on the band themselves and their wacky adventures on tour. Yeah, I remember one of these. It was called New Kids on the Block, and back then New Kids on the Block had one of everything when it came to marketing. I mean, you could even get bed sheets if you wanted to. They had their own toy line, they had their own comic book, they even had a short-lived cartoon. Yeah, it was kind of insane, and a lot of it was really cheesy and nobody was buying it. But it always makes you wonder, like, why try attempting to do a comic book on a boy band? I mean, is there any way you can make it interesting enough for somebody to want to read about the adventures of Backstreet Boys or NSYNC or One Direction? Well, I might have found something interesting. Hello everyone, it's Carrie, aka Nerdy Girl Crates, and welcome back to my channel. Today is Wednesday, and we're going to take a look at the wonderful world of WEBTOONs. Now, these are digital comics, mostly from South Korea, on the WEBTOONS app, and you might be familiar with some such as Solo Leveling, which is now even in a physical book form. Well, it seems like the K-pop industry has gotten in on the WEBTOON world, especially its most famous group, BTS. Now, I'm sure by now, no matter who you are, you've heard at least about BTS at least once. And apparently BTS, this is not their first, but their second WEBTOON that has premiered. And I'm not going to lie, it's kind of got this really interesting concept. The group kind of goes against the typical let's do a story about the group, and instead just uses their likeness for some original characters who are going through some fantastical adventure. This one, which is called Fates Chakho, hopefully I said that right, is based in a alternate universe in a future city called Sin-Si, spelled S-I-N-S-I, and it tells the story of 7 boys tied together by fate who overcome hardships and grow as a group in the process, but not as a musical group. Instead, they decide to tie the story to Korean folklore. The 7 characters will be facing off against something known as Bom, the Korean word for tiger. And instead of being actual tigers, these are supernatural creatures who come to Sin-Si in order to hunt humans. And the 7 boys are tasked with stopping these supernatural beings. And it really has kind of almost like this Solo Leveling archetype style with very vibrant colors in it. And like I said, each of the characters looks like a member of BTS, but they have their own name and their own identity. And their own backstory. So they're not exactly BTS. So it's like, if you're a fan of this type of like supernatural futuristic world, if you can separate the group from the story, it's actually kind of interesting. Now, I haven't gotten to read too much because it just came out on WEBTOONS, so I have gotten through the first few chapters. And you've got the main character who is dealing with the loss, I think it's like 5 years later, of his parents on a mysterious night with a certain kind of moon that comes out. And he wants to know how they died, and a mysterious person shows up and tells him that he could show them the answer if he comes to this temple. And when he gets there, he realizes it's a trap and it's these bomb creatures. But somehow he survives and he doesn't remember the situation. So he goes back and he meets this deity who's one of the 7 boys, who explains to him, you know, what happens on this specific night once a year. And how there is select group who fights and destroys these beings. So he ends up getting recruited in. And it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of really interesting. So it's like, even if you're not a big K-pop fan, even if you're not a big BTS fan, if you can put that to the side and kind of just look at the story, you might find yourself enjoying it. And it's not the traditional quick money scheme like they've done in the past with boy bands, and they're really like generic storylines and just like slapping their name on whatever they can just to make money. I mean, they actually put some thought into this, and they actually put some decent art also. And like I said, this is not their first one. I did also check out their original webtoon called Save Me. Now, if you're familiar with the group, that webtoon was based on a ongoing storyline that happened in their earlier videos before they hit it big over here in the States. And it focused on the oldest member of the group, Jin, who was, he had these 6 friends, and something tragic happened. And then he found a way to travel in the past and try to change things, but every time he did it, it was like a butterfly effect, where he would save one, something would happen to another, and he would have to keep trying to fix it until he finally would try to get to a point where everybody would be happy. And he was holding a lot of guilt over the reason the original tragedy happened. And again, it's based, if you ever watched their videos, like I forgot which album series it was from, it crossed over into their next album after that, where there was this whole story in the video. Like, it was actually intriguing. So to take that concept and make that a webtoon was also really interesting. And it really teased this whole mystery of, will he be successful in saving all his friends? Will something even worse happen? What will happen to him because he's tampering with timelines? And yeah, again, it's, you know, it's not your traditional like boy band, slap the name on there and hope you make a lot of money gimmick. Again, it was a lot of thought, and from what I understand, the company that they're from is also releasing a couple more webtoons based on some of their other groups that they have under contract. I wonder how those are going to be. But, I mean, I would say, you know, if you have a Webtoons account, give it a chance, check it out, and tell me what you think about it. Go ahead, comment down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on this video, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.